I was playing Cobblemon the other day when I had a question. Can I farm you? Well, to be more specific, can I turn these adorable little block creatures into valuable resources? After a bit of research and testing, I found I could turn them into almost any resource I needed. Cobblemon drop resources in two ways, either by defeating them in battle or by killing them. Battling them would take more time than it's worth, so I'll rule that method out. I can manually kill them, but I'm lazy and I want to automate it. Luckily, we don't have to directly kill the Cobblemon. No matter how a Pokemon dies, it drops loot. Now that I know they can be farmed and automated, it begs the question, what do I farm? This question comes with two problems I need to solve before I can even do anything. One, I need to find a way to get only the Pokemon I want to spawn specifically, since if other Pokemon spawn aside from the one I want, it'll slow down production. And two, most Cobblemon have very low loot drop rates, making it hard to even get one item in a meaningful amount of time. Luckily, there are tons of Pokemon that have unique spawn requirements. Like Gumi requires you to be in a swamp while it's raining, and Porygon can only spawn on top of a PC. For now, I'll be looking for candidates with high drop rates. There's Kamala, which has a guaranteed chance to drop Acacia Logs, but I don't need much Acacia Log. Oh, and there's Pokemon like Taurus and Starly who drop food items, but I have much easier PETA approved ways of getting food. Every Pokemon I find is either too rare, has low drop rates, or if farmed is outshined by other methods. If only there was a Pokemon that solved all my problems. Luckily, I found that perfect Pokemon, Clink. Everything about Clink makes him the ideal candidate, solving both problems I had before. Firstly, he has a unique spawn requirement. Clink can only spawn near redstone of some kind, whether that's redstone dust, torches, pistons, you name it. Secondly, he has a high chance to drop raw iron. So now that we have the Pokemon, I gotta find out ways of preventing other mons from spawning. First comes the biome. I need a biome with lots of room to build, but also not a lot of Cobblemon spawn. I'm in the middle of the Minecraftia ocean, but I'm not interested in what's down there. No, my friend. I'm interested in what's up there. Minecraft mobs spawn within 128 blocks of the player, and Cobblemon spawn within 64 blocks. If I build up to that 128 blocks, I can prevent other mobs from spawning outside of the farm. This increases the amount of spawns inside my farm. Now that we're up here, you're probably wondering, how am I going to get Clink to spawn? The only thing Clink cares about is redstone being nearby. As long as I place no naturally spawning blocks, Clink and its evolutions are the only Pokemon that can spawn here. Who the hell are you? I may have neglected to mention something earlier. Pokemon are separated into groups: common, uncommon, rare, and ultra rare. When a Pokemon is going to spawn, a random group is chosen, and then a random Pokemon in said group is chosen. You can influence the spawn rates of each Pokemon. This is how we have only Clink and its evolution spawning out of the common Pokemon group. While Clink is the only common Pokemon that can spawn, Magnemite and its evolutions are the only uncommon Pokemon that can spawn, and the only other Pokemon that can spawn up here, period. The reason for this is Clink and Magnemite share the same spawning condition, that being redstone being in the area. And for the sake of my farm, Magnemite drops iron, so I don't have to find a way to get rid of them. But for the sake of the video, I'll be neglecting them. Sorry not sorry to all my Magnemite lovers. Now that we have a giant area where only Clink spawns, how about we automate? Clink spawns around redstone dust in an 8x8x15 area. And you may be wondering, why is the redstone dust not directly in the center of the spawnable area? Well, that is a good question. I did try to ask Clink myself, but their minds are too small to understand what I was asking, so we're just going to chalk it up to just Clink things. Now that we know the area they can spawn in, we need to come up with a plan to procure the iron from their bodies. Luckily, since we, the player, don't have to do any damage to them, I set up some campfires down there. When Clink goes to step on the campfires, they'll take damage and die, dropping their iron, which is collected by hoppers below the campfires. There will also be water around the campfires to push the Clinks to their demise. Above this is where the Clinks will spawn. I have platforms that match the spawning area of the Clinks. Each platform has one piece of redstone dust in the middle with a light block to prevent other mobs from spawning. And each platform is surrounded by open trapdoors. This is because the Clinks are too stupid to tell the difference between open and closed trapdoors, so they assume all are closed, resulting in them falling below. With that all set up, I AFK'd for a bit to see how effective it was, and after an hour, it granted me 23 iron. Well, that's a little disappointing. You know what? How about we maximize this, bring it to its extreme, and then see how effective it is. Welcome to the Clinker Box. Let me explain the finer details for you. As I said before, Pokemon spawn within 64 blocks of the player, but cannot spawn within 24 blocks of the player. With this in mind, I stacked a bunch of platforms on top of each other and put them both outside the 24 block range and within the 64 block range. The stacked platforms will give Clink more area to spawn. Each platform has a piece of redstone a few blocks away from each other. After a bunch of testing, this ended up being the most optimal way of having the redstone laid out, and everything else with the design is pretty much the same, minus a few minor things, such as the water. Now, I think it's time to see just how effective this really is. And after an hour of AFKing in the Clinker Box, I am proud to announce I generated, drumroll please, 50 iron. What the So let me explain the issue. These fuckheads are so goddamn dense that they just sit there staring into the abyss. So while I was able to get tons to spawn, they refused to move half the time. And when they did move, there was a chance they wouldn't go where I wanted them to go. Without any way of luring these fuckers, there's no way to make them go down into the pit reliably. The only way to make this work reliably is to use another mod like Create and have a bunch of fans push the Clinks into the death pit. I did end up testing this with the Create mod, and in the giant Clinker Box I was able to produce around 2,000 iron in an hour. Pretty good, honestly. But by itself without Create, farming Clink for iron is pretty much useless. I did have fun though. I did learn quite a bit, and honestly I wouldn't say my time here was wasted. I do have some more plans for future videos, and stuff that is going to be a lot more useful than this. If you have any ideas for future videos you want to see, feel free to let me know in the comments, and thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day.